Welcome back to the third and final segment of today's Tax Time show. In this episode, viewers, once again, EIDL is the highlight of this episode because Mr. Ajay Kumar has been giving a lot of information, good information and important information for all of you to know regarding EIDL. What's EIDL and where you can use money for EIDL and what you cannot do. So he gave out a lot of information. Once again, I'd like to remind you that any question you have, do send us an email. Texttime@tvasiausa.com. You'll see it on the screen. Texttime@tvasiausa.com. And for that matter, any question that you have regarding your personal taxes, corporate taxes, do reach out to Mr. Ajay Kumar at Sai CPA Services. Texttime@tvasiausa.com. Sai CPA Services is a full-fledged accounting firm based here in the state of New Jersey. They provide complete accounting services and the tax services from small business to large business and all your personal taxes as well. And you can definitely check them out online, and you can reach out to Mr. Ajay Kumar once again at texttime@tvasiausa.com. Having heard from you about EIDL, where it can be used and where it cannot be used, that's all in good and everything to know, right? All right, Ajay ji, before the break and last two segments, you gave out very helpful information on EIDL. Just to take it further, and I want to let viewers know that in case if you don't know where to use EIDL, that's why you need a very experienced and knowledgeable accountant, CPA like Mr. Ajay Kumar. So do keep that in the mind. Now, EIDL, misuse of EIDL. Suppose Uncle Sam finds out, when I say Uncle Sam, meaning the government, they find out that the funds were misused, even though, let's say, unknowingly. What are the penalties? What could happen?
In the worst case scenario, there could be civil penalties and there could be criminal penalties, depending on if you misuse the money intentionally or if you misuse the money by mistake. SBA publishes guidelines, says if you use the money for one of those defined purpose that you're not supposed to be using this money for, SBA has a right to collect 1.5 times of what they gave you immediately. And please remember, right now this loan is for 30 years and you're supposed to pay monthly payments. There is no payment for the first year, and let's say you got $150,000 and they find out that you do personal distribution, you increased your own salary, you gave your bonus to yourself or any other listed purpose that you are not supposed to use this money. SBA can come back and say, give me $225,000 right now. That's the way this guidelines is.
$220,000. Where did you come up with that number?
Well, if you think about Sanjeevji, 150,000 multiplied by 1.5 times
maximum. Okay.
Maximum could be $225,000 that the government can say, I want it right now.
And it's due immediately, huh?
It's due immediately. I mean, of course, they will give you a week, a month, but it's in theory, the way the guidelines are listed, that SBA can request this money, ask for this money 1.5 times of what they gave you. If they gave you 100,000, they have the right to ask for 150. Whatever they gave you 1.5 times of that money becomes due immediately. That's how it's written out.
Interesting to know. Very, very interesting to know. Anything else you'd like to add?
There are a couple of more things that we want to let our viewers know. What you cannot, and I want to focus,
please,
what you cannot do with this money, as opposed to use it for the business expenses. That's common. Use it for the business expenses. The key here is one misconception actually, that you cannot use this money for business expansion. And let's take some examples. You have one office. Now you suddenly got $150,000. Can I expand the office? Can I get the second office? Let's say you have 3 employees. Can I make 30 employees? Because now I have a lot of money. You have 3 machines. Can I get 3 more machines? So the intent is, the rule is, you're not supposed to use this money for business expansion. This money is meant for survival. As a part of the attestation, when you got this money, you said, my business is adversely impacted under COVID-19 situation. If I don't get this money, I wouldn't be able to survive as a business.
Okay.
The other thing that you cannot do, paying the federal taxes. If you owe money to the government, especially for a flow-through entity, the taxes are paid by the shareholder. You cannot pay your personal estimated taxes. A common misconception. A lot of small business owners pay their personal taxes, estimated tax payment, and their theory is this tax liability is coming because of the business profit. So the business should be paying it.
Okay.
But the right thing is the business makes a distribution to the shareholder or the LLC owner, and then shareholder or the LLC owner pays the taxes. But under the SBA guidelines, you are not allowed to make the distribution to the owner. That's why SBA money cannot be used to make the estimated tax payments.
Got it.
SBA money can also not be used for loan refinancing. You can't really say I owed $70,000 to this company, $30,000 to this company, so I got the SBA loan and I paid their money back. That wouldn't be acceptable either.
Interesting. EIDL is for the survival during this pandemic, and solely must be used for only business survival.
Absolutely.
If that is the rule for EIDL, how would you say PPP money, what category you would describe as PPP money for?
I'm glad you asked. The other thing, I'm going to answer your question, but before I do, I want to remind our viewers the same expense cannot be covered by two different type of loan. So PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, we were talking about the minimum, at least 60% of that money must be used for the payroll. The remaining 40% can be used for the rent, utility, mortgage, lease, and various other expenses. But if you are justifying the PPP expense, loan forgiveness, by saying I paid $5,000 rent over here, you cannot use the exact same expense against the EIDL as well. You cannot use one expense against two different type of loans.
Okay, good. That is the best way to describe them, and that's the best way to, I guess, summarize them, PPP versus EIDL. And viewers, once again, any question, do reach out to us. Text time at tvasiausa.com. Before we bring an end to the show, I want to pick your brains on this matter. Question just came to my mind. As we are just shooting this episode and it's going on our regular schedule on TV Asia, as of now, President's executive order still stays in effect. What do you see, what do you think is going to happen when the Congress returns from recess? Anything they're going to touch upon that $400 issue for the unemployment people?
Well, there is an emotional factor to it. Congress is forced to come back. So when you are forced to come back from your vacation, from your recess, I'm expecting they will make some decision. It won't be work as usual. You don't really come back from vacation and sort of linger upon things for weeks.
It will be a priority.
It will be priority.
People will be 24 hours a day, yes.
People will be forced to, and people would want to go back on their vacation, right? So they will try to make a decision sooner than later, even though they are being called for one particular reason, for this post office issue that we have right now.
But you think they're going to go back to the vacation after they resolve the matter?
I'm not sure. It depends how long.
Election is just around the corner. There are so many issues. I mean, there's a post office issue needs to be resolved also, and then this $400 issue and many other things also.
You are right, but these issues were there a week ago when they went on vacation to the first place. So depending on how long
this is the only time politicians work hard. In 4 years, this is the only time where last 2 months, that's the only time they work very hard. I agree with you. So let's see what happens. But regardless of that, what happens, whatever happens, viewers, I can tell you that we're going to bring you all the latest and the greatest in this Text Time show. So do watch out for the space on your favorite TV channel. That's a TV Asia, and Mr. Ajay Kumar will have all the latest as soon as it happens for you right here in the Text Time show. Ajay Kumar, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
For your continuous
thank you for
guidance.
Having me.
Yes, thank you. And I am Sanjeev Pandya, wishing you all happy and tax-free days ahead, keeping our fingers and toes crossed for that stimulus checks. Hopefully, we'll know the answer. When are they going to come? But let's hope they come very soon. Until we meet again, you take care of yourself, stay safe, so long.